Thank you for joining me today at Community Kitchen's At Home Edition. My name is Pauline and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making my husband's famous black bean orzo salad that we will be putting into lettuce cups. Now before we begin, let's take 20 to 30 seconds and wash our hands with warm water and soap. For today's recipe, you will need 1 can of black beans, rinsed and drained, 1 package of baby tomatoes chopped, 1 bunch of green onions chopped, 1 bulb of fennel diced, 2 bell peppers diced, 2 jalapeno peppers diced, 1 sweet onion diced, 2 limes, the zest and juice, a half a package of dry orzo cooked as directed, a half a bunch of fresh cilantro chopped, a half a bunch of fresh parsley chopped, 1 bunch of mint chopped, a 1/4 cup of olive oil, 1½ teaspoons of cumin ground, 1½ teaspoons of coriander ground, salt and pepper to taste, 1 package of romaine lettuce, and the protein of your choice. Start by putting a damp cloth underneath your cutting board so that it doesn't move around while we're cutting. Next, we're going to prepare all of our vegetables to put into this salad. Start by taking the top and bottom off of your peppers, removing the core, the seeds, and the white part on the inside, which is called the pith. Next, we're going to move on to our onions. We're going to slice our onion in half, take the top and bottom off of each piece, peel off the papery skin, and 1 layer of onion. To prepare our fennel, we're simply going to cut the top end off, and we're going to put that aside to flavor soups or salad dressings. Now the outer layer of the fennel can sometimes be tough or it can be wilted, so we're going to take that off as well. Now our fennel is ready to be cut later on. For our jalapenos, we're simply going to cut the top and the bottom ends off. We're going to slice lengthwise, and using a small spoon, we're going to scoop out the core, the white membrane, and the seeds. Now here's a pro tip. If you want your salad a little bit spicier, simply leave those in, as there's a lot of spice in the seeds and the core. Now we always use the tiny tomatoes for this recipe, as we find they are the juiciest and they are the easiest to cut. You're going to cut each tomato in half and cut each half into 4. That gives you 8 little tiny pieces from each tomato. If you're using a bigger tomato, just simply make sure that you're all cut about the same size as what we've just done. To get our peppers cut up, we're simply going to cut them into long match strip size pieces, gather those together, and do a fine dice. Now feel free to use your favorite colored peppers in this recipe. It doesn't have to be green and yellow like we've done. To cut the jalapeno, we're simply going to do the same thing. Long match strips, gather together, and cut those into small dices. This is where you get to decide how hot you actually want your salad. If you like spicy, add more jalapeno. If your family doesn't like that much spice, just use half. To get some nice finely diced onion, we're simply going to make cuts that are parallel to our cutting board, evenly spaced from the stem end to the root end, being careful not to cut all the way through the root end. We're simply then going to turn the onion, do the same thing from the top to bottom, and then slice off the dices. So once again, we make sure we do not cut all the way through our onion end and simply slice off the dices. To cut up our fennel, we're simply going to do the same thing we did to the onion. Now we've cut the core out here. You can leave it in until you're done dicing as well. You're going to cut the core, lay it down flat, make slices almost through, and simply slice off the dices. For the green onions, cut off the root end and simply cut into small slices. When you get down to the greens and they're starting to look a little wilty in the end, that's where you're going to stop and throw that part out. Now that all the vegetables are in the bowl, we're going to add in our cold orzo, which is just a type of pasta. we're going to add in our drained and rinsed black beans. Season with salt and pepper to taste. Add in our minced garlic, cumin and coriander, and our olive oil. And stir to completely combine. Before zesting or juicing your lime, you're going to want to roll it on a hard surface, applying firm pressure. That releases all the juices. Alternately, you can put it in the microwave for 3 to 5 seconds. Now, since limes have such thin skin, we're going to make sure that we're only zesting off the green. You're going to use the smallest part of your box grater. And after every zest, you're going to simply turn the lime so that it doesn't get into the white. Cut your lime crosswise. This will allow the membranes inside to release more of the juices. Take a fork, push it into the lime, and turn. Once you have done that, simply squeeze out the rest of the juice, and you should have enough for this recipe. Take whatever leftover protein you are using for this recipe and cut into thin strips, making sure to cut across the grain so that it's not tough to chew. When you're ready to assemble, take your lettuce cup, spoon in your salad, and top with your protein. If you want to take this to a family get-together or a picnic at the beach, simply pack everything in a separate container and assemble when you get there. I hope you enjoyed making this meal today with your family and everyone got involved. To catch new episodes, make sure you go to Algoma Family Services Facebook page. And if you want to see some other episodes, head on over to YouTube, Algoma Family Services, and you can see lots there. Hope to see you next time.